Welcome to Pagan World News Live for June 24th, 2026, with your host, Ed the Pagan, and Reverend Don Lewis. Hi, Don.
Hello, hello.
So, this is a mea culpa. I'm finding the recording too difficult and overwhelming for me for various reasons. I'm better live. And so I really want to find a live team as well as the recordings. I want to thank Gabriella Evans, who sends us an amazing amount of material on Hecate.
Mhm.
Uh, Mary Hawk is presenting things, and tomorrow we're going to do a very special episode on children.
Yes.
That requested several pieces, and we're going to become a hybrid of live and recorded materials. I really have always wanted a news agency. We've been working for a long time about it. Don
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, Don started in 1984,
Something like that, yeah.
and we've been
Well,
talking on
people
my.
who've been following Magic TV from the start will remember Pagan Nightly News
Mm-hmm.
from 20 years ago.
It was our first show.
Yeah.
Yep, and the interactive grimoire.
Yes.
Those are the two shows we started with. And interactive grimoire is still very popular.
Yeah.
So we've been at this for a very long time. And what we really need is people to start stepping up. I'm
Hmm.
asking the Corellians directly. You should be stepping up. This is our legacy. I want to talk about this is one of the most important parts of the legacy that we had with Lady Crystal,
Hmm.
with everybody, is that they gave us permission to record them.
That's true.
And we were allowed to broadcast them. You're
Hmm.
the first one to really allow to be allowed. And I want you to talk about that. Lady Crystal allowed you to bring in outsiders, right?
More or
Brought
less,
me in.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brought me in.
Well, we made the decision to become a public group many, many years ago. And I certainly flung those doors very wide open and used every tool that was available.
And
And
I agree.
we believed that this was a multi generational project,
Hmm.
um, that we were doing what was necessary for this generation and future generations, and I still believe that.
And we have material that is on videotape and
Hmm.
8 millimeter
Yeah,
that's never seen the light today.
that's
We
true.
have so there's a lot of film out there. There's a lot more material that they don't know about. And we're starting to build that towards that ability. So
Hmm.
the news is a really important part of it. People have done a really good job with the news. Um, and we're live, so you guys, let me put on the chat.
Well, that's true.
Shaggyzilla. I like that. Good evening. Um,
Good evening, Shaggy.
yeah. Uh, but we
And
have seen this.
my attitude was where other people like to be the gatekeepers, I like to be the gate.
Hmm. Yep, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
People have been asking me about, a lot of questions about, how far does this go back? So I've been working on the final edition of the Techromatic Grimoire.
Yeah.
That's going to be out September 4th. We'll make pre-orders pretty soon. But one of the things I've been talking about is how much of my past I remember.
Hmm.
Can we have these sigils? Can we have these patterns that can draw your past forward?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And and so one of the things I'm looking at is how do we share those exercises? So we have a page on this sort of thing, and we can have it online. There's a lot of ways to do so, because that's the way we're going to remember our past lives.
Hmm.
I'm looking
Yes.
forward how we're going to remember our future lives. I mean, Lady Crystal was the head of the World Walkers, and people have
Yeah.
moved on, and people have said,
Well, the World Walkers are still there, but yeah, she was the head of the World Walkers for much of her life.
and well, there's a secret to that. I
Yes.
mean, how soon before she comes back?
She has not announced that yet,
Yeah.
but it's reasonable based on previous examples that it won't be terribly long. She already is very active in the spirit world,
Mm-hmm.
which is not surprising considering that she was a world walker. Because when many people die and
Mm-hmm.
go to the ancestors, you want to leave about a year before you try to talk to them, because they
Hmm.
have to settle in. You have to settle into life without them physically here. There's a reason for that year of mourning, but when you're dealing with advanced world walkers, they'll often start talking to you right away
Hmm.
because they've crossed back and forth so many times while they were alive that it's not a difficult thing to do when they die. And she's been talking to people pretty much from the first day, or at least
Hmm.
from the second.
And this is a strong Correllian belief amongst us. And this is one of the things we do. We also have the beloved Wendy LaJoy.
Yeah.
We have the Lady Bitterwin,
Hmm.
my beloved teacher.
Yeah.
She told me the government was one. You ate paper at one end, and uh, shitted out rules and regulations at the other end.
Yeah.
And it's all bullshit. That
That
was
was
Lady
very much
Bitter.
her point of view. She wrote a lovely essay on that subject once on
She did.
how the government is a living thing, and
It's
that's
in the
part of
Wheel
the
of
truth.
Hecate somewhere, right?
Yes, it is.
So one of the things I think people don't understand is how quickly society is going to change. The
Mm.
truth is if we could sit down and just have a number of executions, just have a place where we could lay out paperwork and things like that. Wheel of Hecate could be back on. We could do a podium and have it on the market in a month at most.
Well, that's true with a little bit of help. Yeah. Now, when
It's
you
a
said
fit.
we just need a place to do a few executions, I had a totally different political thought in mind. But no,
Uh,
we certainly could bring the Wheel of Hecate back quickly if we wanted to.
hmm So we really need people who want to come on live and talk with the community about what's happening. Let me go ahead and mention some. The NPDM 7 case, the Houston 8, the first Antifa trial, those guys are going to jail for a very long time on very little evidence that
Hmm.
they did anything really wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is another one. People talk to me all the time. We'll talk to you about any of the news. I think that's one of the things we're better at. I think it's really difficult right now. You
Hmm.
know, so breads and circuses. I'm a big lover of cannabis.
Yes.
Okay, lifelong. I mean, I praise the joys of it. I
Yeah.
was, 14 years old in high school when I started.
Hmm.
Next year it'll be 50 years of it, more or less, except for the Reagan years and a handful of situations.
Yeah.
And I've gone from it being absolute like this. What you would? I have friends who've gone to jail. I had a
Hmm.
friend who went to jail. Pete went to jail for a year for a
Hmm.
joint, for half a joint
Yeah.
in Texas. Yeah, they grabbed his car, sold his car, put him in jail for a year. So I would gone from that to we just raised the limit in the state of Illinois to 60 grams
Yeah.
that you can buy. An ounce and a half. You can do that every single day if you want. That's okay. And in the city of Danville, it financed the cops' pension.
Yes.
It does.
It
The
does.
irony, the irony of it all. So we're
There
seeing
is a
that,
certain irony in that, but whatever gets the job done.
and then we have all these forms. We have all the things we ever wanted about legalization happening,
Yes.
except for market freedom. It's government regulated, like the lottery, like a lot of
Hmm.
things. But I'm not so much upset about that. But it's definitely like they're throwing pot at us to calm us down. Less alcohol, more pot.
Yep.
You know, when you get four alcoholics together, you have a brawl. When you have four potheads together, you have a band.
Yes.
I mean, and these are some of the situations. So they're feeding us, and I love having the cannabis available. Da 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 da. I like the research. I love all of that now, but they're not doing it for our happiness.
No.
No.
I don't think there are an awful lot of people who are devoted to the public's happiness.
Yeah. And this
Their
last weekend,
quiescence, perhaps. Their
uh,
happiness, no.
and we have a lot of tartan lovers in our people who are a lot of tartans in our audience. We do. I mean,
Yes.
we have a lot of them. And the Tartan Army of Scotland came down onto Boston like a storm of beer drinking, guzzling. uh, what was it? Cones,
Yes.
cone wearing things, and absolutely made the city of Boston fall in love with them.
Yes.
They drank Samuel Adams tap room dry.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then
And,
put a traffic cone on his statue,
and a traffic cone on this statue. And so they
which
were
apparently
there.
is the thing in Scotland.
It is a thing in Scotland. I did not know that.
I
And
didn't particularly know that either, but there's something to be said for it.
and people always say, "Oh, these things are that." They Everybody said they tipped well, behaved well, and the police said they had no problem with them.
Hmm.
So they moved on. They drained the city dry like a horde of good Scottishmen,
Yep.
exploited the cities, loved many, many lovers, I have no doubt.
Yes.
They're Scots, after all. And now they're merging, and we'll talk more about this as they merge onto Miami. And in bridging into Miami, and today, I don't know if their game has happened. They're fighting Brazil. And we have a psychic who says that the invasion begins essentially any minute by the name of Bohai. I reported this on the
Okay.
news last week. And we're there. We're at D Day, June 21st,
Alrighty then.
or June 24th. Are we seeing the Scottish army has now invaded
Well,
Miami?
I suppose that could be taken as a fulfillment of an invasion prophecy.
Could be. So we'll see
I
what
don't think
happens
that's
tomorrow.
quite who the prophecy was supposed to be about.
Yep. So much things.
If I had $1 for everyone who warned me in a state of great distress about the upcoming invasion, it was going to happen any day, at any time in the last 50 years, I would have almost as many dollars as I would have for anyone who ever talked about the second coming of Jesus that's going to happen any day, had named a date for it in the last 50 years. And none of these have ever happened.
Well, in fact, let's go a little bit deeper about our story. I
Hmm.
actually believed in one of these when I was
Yes,
in the
you did.
military, and I got leave, and we did it all proper. We got a jeep, and we went out into the Arizona desert to where one of our guys had land. We spent a week hunting. The only time I ever actually really hunted in my life, and ate what we hunted, rabbits. I love rabbit. Um,
Our
and
heraldic
was
symbol.
supposed to be the Jupiter effect. You're supposed to be there, and the San Andreas Fault was supposed to break apart.
Hmm.
Our idea is that after it broke apart, we'd go back to the service, but we would have avoided all that nastiness.
Yep.
And we returned on time, and everybody giggled and laughed at us.
Yep.
Since then, I've held parties.
Yes. The end of the
Under the
world party.
Jesus didn't come, but you can.
Yep. And hello to Masticina. It's good to see you.
So,
Well, one of the things
end
I
of the world.
remember from my youth
Hmm.
is an elderly gentleman. I think he was around 80 then. So he
Hmm.
would have been born in the late 1800s. And he was convinced the Soviet Union was going to invade the United States any day.
Hmm.
He had a newsletter that he subscribed to that he would hand out to people for free. There was a map of how they were going to reorganize the United States.
Hmm.
Um,
I actually
totally did
remember
not
that.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, he was not alone.
Oh no.
Now, on the other
Uh,
hand, the man who came to J&M Psychic Fairs to talk about Russia taking over the United States turned out to be a little more insightful,
well,
but that's a whole
he
other
didn't
story.
say it was a takeover, but it was a union.
Yes, that's part of why part of what makes it very different, because that happened long before the fall of the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that the United States and Russia would be working together against Europe was unthinkable at that time. But he insisted he had come from 50 years in the future, and that's what was going to happen. And we needed to stop it any way we could.
Hmm.
Um, One of the stranger experiences that I have had.
Yeah.
And
So one of the things also was 2012.
mhm,
The Mayan ruins. The world comes to an end. What do you do after the day after the world ends?
have
Have
pancakes.
pancakes. And this is why I love pancakes. And my birthday, I celebrate every year. The continuation of the world through a pancake breakfast. And
Well,
we
let's not forget the big one, Y2K.
Y2K.
I knew
Uh,
people who spent every penny they had stocking their larders for the immediate collapse of society they were certain was going to happen and did not.
so the nearly 38 billion, which was a lot more money back then, the 1990 spend to upgrade all the computers, ended up creating a huge wave of money that was allowed Bill Clinton and the Democratic administration to balance the budget and
Yeah.
have surplus.
Hmm.
So why did Y2K not happen? They knew it was going to happen. They just didn't allow it.
Well, they fixed it. And
Yeah.
they said, well before the date, this has been fixed.
My
And
Lady
people
Love was
went
on.
to listen.
Yeah, My Lady Love was on duty that night, and
Yes,
then
she was.
about 8 o'clock they said, and we were downtown. They said, "Nope, go do whatever you want. We're done."
Yep.
Because the times had already started changing over, and we were in Grant Park
Hmm.
with the Chicago spent a fortune on the fireworks in 5 different places across the internet.
Hmm.
And right now, one of the most important clocks on the earth is telling us there were 85 seconds to midnight.
Yep.
I liked it when it was 90 minutes, 90 seconds to midnight. I think that's a great band name. Huh?
Yes.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, we're
mm-hmm.
certainly in precarious times.
And magnificent times too. And
Mhm.
so,
Well, we're both old enough to remember when everybody was frightened of the nuclear war that they thought was going to happen any day then, and
so
the little children doing the duck and cover thing in the schools.
Ed the Pagan has a picket sign that says nuclear sovereignty, yeah, nuclear bomb equals sovereignty.
Hmm.
And we've seen it in the Iranian war that is just kind of weirdly happening.
Yeah.
And the question is, how many jinn are released? How much dark forces are released? How much psychic energy is disputed there? I mean, the Middle East must be becoming a storm of psychic
Well,
energy.
there certainly is a remarkable metaphysical past there. So why
Mhm.
not a remarkable metaphysical present?
Yep. I can't read her name, but it says the clock goes. The next epoch goes eight. I've seen this one. Clock goes bad. 2038. So I've seen that one. I've seen of the Apophis one with the of 2029. Um, I was, and I've seen the opposite today. Motorola had announced today they're speeding up their quantum date.
Hmm.
They've said by 2029 they will be replacing a lot of servers with quantum computers.
Hmm.
So they're planning to begin the first, if I understand it correctly, the first commercial quantum computers.
Yeah.
People don't understand. We're about to see something radically different, and it's important to the pagans in the world. Is that I don't think so. One of my let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit to finish up the show. The technomatic grimoire
Yes.
by hopefully if everything works out by Ed the Pagan of Ed the Pagan. It's not by Ed the Pagan. It is of Ed the Pagan.
Yes.
Authored by me, illustrated by Don, co-authored by Jason, and it's our theories on the internet for 25, 30 years, my life's work.
Hmm.
and it's being quantified September 4th. We'll be allowing it to do so because everybody's asked me, why are you so excited about AI? Because every theory I've ever owned and
Yeah.
talked about from the very beginning required AI.
Hmm.
And just because you're mad about what it's doing to the earth, I agree with you. We need to figure out some real answers, right?
Yeah, but the answer to that is figuring out answers.
Well, it's about sharing more resources with people, spending it on it. Water is an engineering problem. It's a social problem. It's not a moral problem. Anyone that's allowing water to run out. I mean, what is this war has taught us in Iran is that desalination plants are so big and so active in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East, that it feeds whole nations.
Hmm.
Why don't we have that here? Period. They pipeline water like oil across the Middle East.
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing that? I'm just saying. These are the questions I
Well,
think
there
that
are a lot of questions we can say, why don't we do this intelligent thing or that intelligent thing? And it's because the less intelligent things are making more money for certain people.
and I think that's why I think Byron Ballard's getting to the ground. Um,
Mhm.
Mark Brown, the Garlic King, is
Yep.
building beyond organic permaculture. You
Hmm.
know, he's gone from being a Chicago city boy, and he was a farmer's kid, but to being one of the leading experts on garlic. I mean, he's got a lot of other things. He's
Hmm.
got a number of processes that are answered to him and how to do better job with organics and things. He runs a real
Hmm.
active farm. He makes his money not by being an influencer. He's not even close. So, um,
Yeah.
um, that sort of thing. And he saves water, conserves water,
Yeah,
gateway
but
garlic.
that's the thing. There are already a lot of answers to all of these questions. They're just not the ones people thought of 60 years ago. And so many people only want to go backward. They don't want to go forward. It's like we've encountered numerous times in central Illinois. The local populations often want to try to go back to the 50s rather than looking 10 years into the future. And of course, you can't go back to the 50s. This is not the 50s. It's
Because,
not even the
well,
same century. And the things that made the 1950s possible largely don't exist now.
35 cents a gallon gas. Never
Yeah.
happened.
Well, and transit systems that went through these little towns
Hmm.
that were eliminated long ago. Um, at the time, transportation of materials and so forth was a lot easier. The price of gas certainly didn't hurt anything, but the ability to get to some of these places was a little bit easier too than it is today.
Hmm.
And they
So,
often had local infrastructure that they let go a long time ago that was necessary to support that particular culture. But that doesn't mean there aren't things they could do today. It's just not the same things.
hmm
You know, they say that we're always prepared for the last war and never the next one, but that's true socially uh, just as well. And we cannot expect that we're going to be
hmm
living our grandparents' lives.
out there in the 1950s, Rust Belt wasn't rusting yet. Of course not.
Well, that's a big part of it too.
I mean, Danville was running up into the 90s and still functional until just a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Then Quaker Oats closed down, and that was it. And they just had a group of construction they have their main headquarters in Florida, who now extended into the Midwest, moving to Danville.
yeah.
So we really have to start talking about. So we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and we got 6 minutes. Let's go ahead and say that.
Okay.
Mhm. We
Six
need your
6 minutes. Ah.
we need your help. We need you to go on, kind of talk about the news, talk about these things, and we need to find ways to do so. And people go, why? Because you need to be an influencer, or that's fun. People say, "Oh, you must make a ton of money." I'm having a record month on Facebook at $21. So there you go. No, we've never made money from being a social people. We have from books. We have
Mm.
from selling memberships, such as witchschool.com. If you go to
Now in the
witchschool.org,
25th year.
25th year. And they're going to continue on for a while. I mean, they've got new blood, new
Yeah.
things. Witchschool.org, one of the best investments in our community has been the lifetime memberships. Ask anyone who's ever gotten one.
Where would
And
you
it's
get that? Witchschool.org.
So go ahead and try that out. We're really happy with that. On the 25th anniversary, we're going to be covering more of that. But we've
Hmm.
always been Pagans Tonight. So out of Witch School, let's go ahead and talk about that. We need your help because we've always needed your help, and you've
Hmm.
always come out and answered it, and you've all really enjoyed it and benefited in so many ways, and so did we.
Hmm.
A lot of leadership in the pagan world started with us,
Yeah.
be it Magic TV. We when we started, people did not want it.
No.
Uh, no,
Well,
they wanted
that's
to
one
watch
of the
it.
things we found many times when we started something. People did not want that thing to be done, and then they turned around and discovered, oh, this is actually a good idea.
Hmm. And that started with us with magazines and terrestrial radio,
Hmm.
Second Chicago, and then IRC radio. We've been at each of these cusps all along, and we're in the AI cusp. Yes, I think people would like not to do generative art. We've been through Napster. We've been through some of this, and we got to make them answer for our intellectual property. I'm all for that. The corporations did kind of ate everything we gave them to feed this intelligence. And we've talked about that in the spiritual sense of being the Akashic records.
Hmm.
But people, when it's happened in the physical world, oh, all information has to be free. That was the '90s. That was the
Hmm.
early 2000s. All information needs to be free. Well, they took it to heart, and now they're spitting it out through an intelligence system, a
Well, this
pattern
is this is
process.
an important point about being careful what you ask for
Hmm.
and actually thinking about the results of positions that you take. If
I
all
mean,
information is free, it's what you get.
hmm yeah, and that's one of the arguments you always see. Why do these AIs all have free services?
Hmm.
So they can never be hit for monopolies
Yeah.
that they do give away free services. And the courts have long said you're allowed to make a limit for it.
Hmm.
So there we are. So we've been at this game for a while, and
Yes, we have.
we need your help. So we've seen it work. 10 years of Pagans Tonight Radio, over 6,000 hours. Magic TV, online news, one of the first YouTube channels. We have been across the board. We Corellian Education Ministries broadcasting system that helps save a lot of events.
Hmm.
Allows them to continue by charging online fees and helping them host something that was reasonably fun during COVID. Some of them
Yeah.
have gone on to create their annual, and some have been able to continue on with their physical.
Hmm.
And each of these things have had a cycle. So let's talk about this last thing. Each of these things have had a cycle. So, well, why aren't you doing Pegasus Night Radio still? Well, it had a cycle.
Yeah.
People became less interested. People volunteered less. We became towards the end 70% rebroadcasts.
Yeah.
We wanted to keep it going. And Pam Kelly did an
Hmm.
amazing job. If you ever
Yes, we
want to
did.
know who was the heroic leader, the hero of Pegasus Night Radio, it was definitely Pam Kelly.
Yes, indeed.
And more so than if there was somebody who should be given a golden award and button on it, Pam Kelly. And we'll talk more about that. But it wouldn't work today. I mean, it's not the same thing. It
Well,
was
yeah,
over.
times change.
Time changed and it closed. It was closed at about the same time as Witchfox.
We did, however, save the archive.
But we do. And it's going to come back in the Ancestor House Project. If you
Yeah.
take it, and so, yeah, if you go to Corellian Church and join the Ancestor Project, we are giving you a USB drive that is full of information.
Yeah.
I think it's Dee Dee. Who is it? Dee Dee?
Yeah.
Uh,
Leveda May.
has gotten the first one. Um, Jason actually got the first one,
Hmm.
but she's got the first one of the public society,
Hmm.
and so we're going to be making it part of behind the wall because we want to preserve it. We don't want to make it quite so there. We pulled it off the internet so that it can't be used for LLMs. So one of the things we want to talk about, and I think the community needs to talk about, is how do we build a trust around
Hmm.
our intellectual property? One of the things the Corellian Church Incorporated, the Corellian Community Church of Danville is doing, is we're looking into trusts for our intellectual property. All
Hmm.
those videos, all those DVDs, all the books, all of it. And
Yep.
that's the biggest news story I think is important. What are you doing about preserving your knowledge? Um, So tomorrow, tonight's question was legendary. We're going to give it a little bit. We're going to talk a second more about the legendary question. If you go to my page, Ed Hubbard, Ed A. Hubbard on Facebook and other places throughout the internet, you'll see people are sharing. And please amplify it, share it. I ask 1 to 2 questions a day.
Yes.
And I've done this for, since I began on there, like
Many, many
decades,
years.
many, many years. And I love questions. And everybody thinks I ask random questions. They talk about spammy questions. But if you ever follow them, and people who really do it, and I have some people who answer me great and know that I'm listening to them, so they gave me these fantastic comments that I do read, that I do understand, and I think are important to understanding our world. Some people study paganism. Don is one of the most knowledgeable men in the pagan world about paganism.
Thank you.
He's an academic and archive. He knows more in his little pinky about paganism than I know in my entire brain. What I do know is pagans. I study pagans. And my questions are about studying them. And that's what's important for me because I'm a community activist. I will leave all of this idea of our history and all of that to some of our directions to people who are better trained to that.
We want to say hello to Julie Carlson. And Julie
Mhm.
says, I enjoy your questions. I find them thought provoking.
Well, thank you. And they're meant to be. And they do follow a cycle. They're not just put out, they're layered. Um, so my next set of questions is going to be about farmland. We're about to have a huge El Nino effect.
Mm.
Yeah, Europe is raising in temperature already. We're about to see another big heat up. And this one's not climate change. This is happens. This is
Mm.
recorded. This is real. And it has nothing. People will be screaming climate change, climate change, climate change. But people forget Gaia in her own self can be a bitch.
Well, you know what I always like to bring up,
Hmm.
because I take the issue of climate change very seriously, but I also remember where I heard it first, and it was from the psychic community talking about it
Hmm.
back in the 60s and 70s when the
Yes.
scientific community said this is nonsense. And yeah, in some ways they talked about it slightly differently. They didn't talk about the oceans rising over the coast. They talked about the coast falling into the ocean. But higher water was still the result.
Hmm.
And a lot of the things that are in current ideas of climate change were there in the psychic community then. And I have never forgotten this because when science kind of caught up with the idea, it wasn't that big a surprise in my community. And what I was always taught back at that time is there would be a traumatic period, but in the end, it would just be a new ecological cycle that we would all adjust to one way or another. And I still think that's basically what we're experiencing.
Um, so tonight we come live. We kind of just talked with you more of a talk show style. We want to present news and ideas and thoughts to you. We need help. We want other people out here to be kind of anchors and things of that nature. We still want your pieces. Tomorrow will be another one of our great compose. Janet Callahan is going to talk about homeschooling for children. Mary's sending us a piece. Mary Hawk is sending us a piece on some of the changes of the Charles Kirk high schools.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, there's a lot happening, and we're going to probably talk about children from a pagan point of view. What does it mean
Yep.
to us? And it is intended for the United States. I know we have so many friends that are in the pagan world news. This is a United States question. Pretty soon we're going to be talking to the Philippines. Well, I want to get talking to Rolando and his people because I want a celebration of that connection. Same goes for the people of South Africa. We have a lot of connections
Mhm.
there. But you know who we need to connect with as we finish it up? Argentinians.
Yes.
We need a temple in Argentina. Uh, if anyone wants to know why, we'll be talking when we want to talk about AI, maybe a Sunday special. We'll talk all about AI. Argentina just gave permission for AIs to buy bank accounts. An AI can open a bank account there without human intervention. That's legal.
Hmm.
AI is now a non human legal entity in Argentina.
Interesting times we live in.
With that, this is Pagan News Hour, dropping the news up that we are interested in. We may come on any live, but we're going to be on at 6 o'clock as many nights as we can. We need your help to make it continuous. There's no reason why we can't become a 24-hour news station, except we need people to help us execute. So believe in the dream, believe in our community. And folks, I love you. Don, you have the last word.
Oh, well, I love you too. We love our viewers. We love our community. And we thank you for joining us.